Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast. Francesa 5 for this wild card weekend. That will include the two big semifinal games in college football. We start, of course, with the Ole Miss Miami game. Miami, a 3.5 point favorite. And hey, I have to tell you, I was like most of America. I was stunned that Ohio State lost that game. There was something missing with this Ohio State team all year, despite the fact that I thought they were the most talented team. Even when Smith scored that touchdown to bring them close, I thought they would respond there. They didn't. Give Miami credit for making big plays on defense. Give them credit on their offensive line. Give them credit at quarterback. I thought Beck did a very, very good job, and he'll be asked to do it again. Um, there's no story quite like what we've seen from from Ole Miss. I can't remember a Cinderella story like this, with Kiffin, who has created, himself into the biggest villain there is, and how wonderful will that be as he continues to strip them of coaches, if they continue to win. I rooted for them last week. I thought the game against Georgia was a toss-up. I did not even know at that point just how good this quarterback was. I had watched him a couple times this year. I never watched him down in, down out as I did in this game against Georgia, and he was sensational. It was one of the best quarterback performances I've seen in college in years. He has some special qualities. He's not an NFL quarterback. He's a CFL quarterback, but you know what? What he is an incredibly dangerous college quarterback. Um, I can understand anybody coming off a win against Ohio State who thinks that Miami is in the spot to get to the final. I don't think that's unreasonable by any stretch. But I don't know how, if you were on Ole Miss last week like I was, I don't see how you can get off after last week's game. There's no way you can get off that bandwagon because it is a magic carpet ride of the highest order. So, if you weren't there for the wedding, you don't wanna be there for the funeral. I understand that. That's always the case when you're dealing with an underdog. "Hey, I wasn't on them last week, so I don't wanna jump on them now." Well, you know what? I was on Ole Miss last week, so I have no problem jumping on them now. I did not believe that Miami was going to beat Ohio State. They did. Give them credit, give Beck credit, give the veteran players on both sides of that line credit for Miami, give the coaching staff credit. And clearly, Miami wants to revive what they had in the halcyon days of old with Jimmy Johnson. What they had, if you go back, Miami, which was really built by a man named Howard Schnellenberger, who went into West Brady, Pennsylvania, and found a quarterback named Jim Kelly. That is how this Miami thing started. And then Jimmy Johnson came in from Oklahoma State and became the head coach and had to suffer the indignation of having a mutiny that created the Flutie game, of which I was a very big part of for CBS and was at the game. The great Kozar Flutie game, won by Boston College, that launched the legend of Doug Flutie. What people didn't realize there was that Jimmy Johnson's entire defensive staff, so upset about him getting the head coaching job, really went into a mutiny and weren't even in the booth at the final play of that game. Um, but Jimmy went on to do what he had to do in Miami, and you can tell how much it still means to him when you see him in the crowd as the U, and you see some of their great players led by the always vocal Michael Irvin, who I have a soft spot for because I go way back with Michael Irvin. So I do have and if you've listened to my show through the years, you know that I've had a soft spot for Michael Irvin for many, many, many years. I don't have one for Ray Lewis, but I do have one for Michael Irvin. Um, Miami's easy to root for. but nobody is as easy to root for as Ole Miss is. And this Ole Miss saga, should it continue and take everybody right to the 19th, should they make it through this game as 3.5 point underdogs, should Shambles continue his magical mystery tour and take Ole Miss, despite what's going on with the coaching staffs, despite the sabotage that Lane Kiffin is trying to perform on his old school, and in the villainous ways he's doing it, it makes rooting for for Ole Miss that much easier, and really very hard not to root for them. They are one of the great Cinderella stories, and I'll be rooting for them heavily uh, this evening. So I will stay on the Ole Miss bandwagon plus 3.5. I was on Indiana. I thought they'd beat Alabama easy. They did beat them easy. I'm not saying they're gonna beat Oregon the same way, but I think they're gonna beat Oregon soundly. I think they're the best team. I think they're the best coach team. Anybody who thinks Signetti's going to the pros doesn't know what the heck they're talking about. There's no way, first of all, a pro team would pay him anywhere near what he's getting paid at Indiana, and considering his age and his background, he's not leaving what he's built. He has become the poster boy, the poster coach for this wild, wild west of insane, open chaos in college football. And he's already brought in some brilliant players supposedly for next year. I think he has his team as well drilled as anybody has in a long time for this kind of postseason competition. They're 4 point favorites over a very good Oregon team, an Oregon team that costs a lot of money, an Oregon team that has a lot of talent. I still think I still think that Indiana wins it. They're a 4 point favorite. I think they win it going away. Give me Indiana. Moving to the pros, I'm going with the Rams minus 10.5 or 11, depending where you are. I know it's a lot of points. I think this game's one sided. I know that Carolina stunned the Rams. They turned over Stafford. They got a pick six. They got two turnovers in the air. They got one on the ground. They got three turnovers. He only had 11 for the season. I think he rebounds in a big way, getting Adams back with Nakua, who I think is the best wide receiver in the sport and one of the greatest wide receivers I've ever seen, as a matter of fact. I think the Rams win going away. Um, Sunday, the Bills are a 1 point favorite over the Jags. I like what Trevor Lawrence brings to the dance. I've always been a Trevor Lawrence guy. I like what Liam Cohen has done this year. I think it's very impressive what Jaguars have done, and I don't think they're a one hit wonder. But I think when the game is going to be on the line, I don't see Josh Allen going out right here. I think that when the game's there, despite their inefficiencies, I think Allen will be there to answer the bell and find a way to win the game. So give me Buffalo -1 uh, for game number 2 in the NFL, and then I'm going back with the Steelers. I went with them last week. I'm going with them again, getting 3 points. I respect Houston. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. I respect Houston's defense. It's the best defense in the NFL. I have no respect for their offense, nor do I have any respect for their offensive coaches. Their offensive coaches to look to me like they want to come apart in these playoff games. And I think against Tomlin and against the Steeler defense in that building, there will be ample time to come apart at the seams. The Steelers will be there to make a big play. Hayward will be there to make a big play. Watt will be there to make a big play, and that will prove the difference. And then throw in where Rodgers will throw a couple of deep scenes, maybe even a game winner to Thielen. As a matter of fact, I just happened to see that, and I thought the three big ones he threw to Thielen last week were critical, including that pass for 28 yards, which he was blanketed by two guys, and they fit the ball in. I think the Steelers aren't going home yet either. I think they have at least another game in them. They're getting 3 at home, and I think they win behind Aaron Rodgers. From now until January 15th, BetRivers is giving you a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money parlay or bet. Enter the bonus code Francesa26 in your Bet Rivers app, and you'll instantly get $10 to use on a wager of plus 100 or longer odds. That's code again, Francesa26. Go to the Bet Rivers app and claim your bonus bet before January 15th. Must be 21. Eligible customers only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So the Francesa 5, Ole Miss plus 3.5 to continue the magic carpet ride. Indiana to continue the dominant ride. The Rams to show everybody that they're the class of the NFC, minus 11. The Bills with Josh, minus 1. And then the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, plus 3. Turn back Houston and play another day and tell another story. Plenty of good storylines throughout Wild Card Weekend. Plenty of good storylines on the college level, excellent ones on the NFL level. Enjoy the Francesa 5 for this very, very big football weekend. We'll see you later.